It's the 21st of October, coming up on today's Global Intelligence Agency Operations Report. BRICS has launched their money laundering operation, also known as its peer-to-peer network. They are willing to sell out their own with fake money. The problem is the weapons heading to the Middle East. Every military in the world, including top ranks of the global headquarters, realized they had been duped by the secret space program operative. But that hasn't stopped them from listening to them. And today, we decided to be more than a fly on the wall. Find out what happens when we unexpectedly join today's top secret deep state meeting. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Welcome to the GIA Operations Report for October 21st. I guess they just said that. Lots went on this weekend, so we kind of have a packed report for today. Been a long day today as well, but let's get to it. So one of the things that's happened, and it kind of launched probably about a week or two ago, since I've seen it anyway, is the BRICS peer-to-peer network. So this is a blockchain network that is designed to allow for, allegedly, countries of BRICS nations to use BRICS Pay, kind of like Apple Pay or Google Pay, and it's supposedly for every single citizen in their union there in all of the countries. And apparently they can trade in BRICS coin, should it ever show up, or they can trade in their local currencies. They don't say what the conversion ratio is, or if there is one. I didn't go that far into this website. If you'd like to take a look at it, it's called BRICS, BRICS -pay.com. And it gives you this rah-rah session about how wonderful BRICS is and all this kind of thing. So the people of BRICS aren't the only ones with alleged BRICS coins wallets. You also have the black nobility in Italy having BRICS currency and BRICS wallets. And they make for fine money laundering operations for some of the black money that is generated by the Silent Circle and the black nobility. So by black money, we mean illegal drug trading, human trafficking, and all the lovely activities that they do there at the black nobility or with the black nobility. So today, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the BRICS meeting is coming up. I think it starts tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and there are already pre-meetings happening. Some of them are with the United Arab Emirates in Russia, and there have been a lot of leader meetings, and then, of course, the operatives always show up ahead of time, and that's been going on for a couple of weeks. So apparently the Russian mafias, which if you don't know who they are basically no different than your Sicilian mafias and your Italian mafias. They predominantly deal a lot in arms, and that's kind of their specialty. So the BRICS government is telling everybody in Russia, the Russian government here in this case, is telling them that this money is going to be good within 60 days, this BRICS currency in these wallets. And by 60 days from today, a little bit more roughly, is the winter solstice. What a surprise there. So is it going to be good in 60 days? No. Are they giving up a lot? And I mean a tremendous amount of arms to the Middle East right now? Yes. Is the Russian mafia ever going to get paid for these arms? No. They're going to kick that can down the line as far as they can, is what it looks like to me. But they're getting free weapons in the meantime, which is causing a lot of problems in the Middle East right now. It appears that a lot of the weapons are going directly from Russia to Cyprus, and then the Americans and the British pick them up from there, transport them to both Lebanon and Israel, of course, and Iran and Israel and Sudan and Israel and it looks like a Russian plane carrying a lot of weapons went down over Sudan earlier today. So apparently not everybody wants their Russian weapons or is concerned with them arming their opposition. The war in Sudan, as you know, has been going on for a long, long time, and it has a lot to do with the oil pipeline and oil reserves ever since the country split into North and South Sudan. So I'm sure they'd love to get their hands on that pipeline. I'm sure they'd love to get their hands on the oil reserves to be donated to the BRICS nations. But it doesn't look like Sudan agrees, because allegedly it was Sudan forces that shot the plane down. So that's a positive there. We also have been heavily tracking the traffic coming in and out of Cyprus all day today. So this has been one of the main things that we were, not really, I mean, a lot of things at the same time. But we were the ones that were tracking a lot of those flights and planes and seeing where everything was going. And it's very clear that, you know, of course, the Russians are just there to sell arms. That's what that leg of the mafia does. It's their specialty. Arms trading, some human trafficking as well. And apparently, they would like to continue to provide these things for free while they lose all their inventory. So whatever works for them, you know, we're just going to shoot down planes and, you know, the inventory might disappear, those kinds of things. We've been busy doing a lot of that today, too. So what is this war for in the Middle East anyway? At this moment in time, there's a lot of people that have died. It has been a year, over a year now, and nobody's gotten any money. War no longer makes them money. They are, and if anything, it has been a money pit. It's kind of like a bad investment. And they haven't successfully opened any gate to hell in Israel. So that didn't work out either. Or any other little mini gates in Iran or Iraq. So that didn't really work out either. So I'm not sure what the purpose of this exercise is, because if that was their intention, was to make money, keep going, the Greater Israel Project, I'm not sure. I know that they're selling a lot of sunshine to Israel right now. That would be what's left of the Rothschild family. They are telling them that this is a religious war. If we ever want to build the third temple, we have to fight Satan. I don't know who Satan is. I think they're Satan, but you know, I guess pot calling the kettle black there. You know, this is going to be the final battle before the third temple is built. You must fight. You know, they're appealing to their upper morality because there's no money. You know, they're trying to keep them going for some reason, which is also a lie. But there's a lot of lies going around these days, which is no surprise to us, but a lot of people are getting hurt too. So we hopefully can try to get in there and do our best to make sure that people aren't getting hurt. I know that they've been blowing up a lot of hospitals. They definitely don't want anyone that's injured to actually survive. They're trying to wipe out all of the Arabic people in the Middle East and make it the Greater Israel. I know that. For what purpose, I don't know, because it isn't going to do anything. It's just border changes, I guess, is what they're going for. But behind the scenes, it appears that there's a lot going on, and it kind of might explain why they're doing what they're doing. So last we spoke, we talked about these meetings, and it appeared that everybody was collecting all these numbers from all these different groups, you know, big meetings with everyone from the Templars to the Maltas to militaries around the world, trying to figure out how much they needed to kind of right the wrongs. They realized it was a lot more than they thought. The numbers are enormous, but they kept those numbers anyway. And we thought that they were, based on the fact that they said they were going to have meetings with us over the weekend. Of course, that didn't happen. Well, it kind of did. So we'll talk about that in a second. But they looked like they may be presenting us those numbers. I thought, you know, that sounds okay. Let's see what they do. Well, true to form, it wasn't me they collected all those numbers for. They collected them for the secret space program operatives who told them that they were going to have access to the system no later than 5 o'clock, apparently on Friday night. Did that happen? No. Did it happen by Saturday when they said it would? No. But they did get on a call on Saturday, which turned out to be kind of interesting because during this meeting, apparently a lot of people in that meeting were promised they were going to be in charge, but they also told them that they were going to pay out all this money and fix the system. But that's not quite what they had in mind. Turns out when they were kind of called on the carpet for not performing, they sort of talked out of their ego. We may say they talked out of something else, but in this case, they talked out of their ego. And they said that they were planning on crashing the world. I've heard this story before from somebody else. They were going to crash the financial system of the entire world. They had no intention of paying those people out on that day. But after everything burned to the ground, then they had an intention of picking up the pieces for pennies on the dollar and owning all of these societies and owning global headquarters and Langley 5 and Langley, the US, and every other country in the world for that matter. I think I heard that before, and I heard it from Marduk, and I also heard it before from the Rothschild family who got their plan or a part of the plan from Marduk. So apparently the secret space program folks didn't get the memo that it was actually Marduk's plan, which they gave the financial portion only to the Rothschild family. Apparently the secret space program's ego has no end, and they thought that they could pull it off without Marduk. No. That didn't go over real well with everybody else in the meeting because they feel like they had been duped. They did all this work, collected all these numbers, and they had no intention of paying out until, of course, A, they got control of systems, and B, that they would actually pay them afterwards, which they would own them like dogs. That's not what the deal was. They thought that they were going to be partners. They thought that they were going to be in charge, and this left Langley 5, who was in charge of the meetings that happened when they were collecting the numbers. Well, let's just say they turned out to be cannon fodder, because now all these people are coming to them wondering where all their money is all weekend long. Oh, just wait, just be patient. They actually canceled a meeting on Sunday afternoon with everybody. They ended up having it this afternoon. So what is the secret space program's plan? So let's talk about that plan. Their plan, and this is what they're talking about behind everybody else's back, they are actually discussing about the equinox time, because we're still in equinox time right now. Equinox power, according to them, lasts for 30 days, which means that would end tomorrow. Apparently, the Russians aren't as confident that it's going to happen during equinox. They feel it's going to happen more around the winter solstice. This is so crazy that the entire world functioned around alignments or solstices, or the darkest day of the year is blackouts, emergency broadcast systems, or whatever it is they're talking about. And it's always, we just keep going round and round and round. I don't know, Q Clock says that the gateway is going to open by, I think it's next week sometime, or no, the week after, November 4th or 5th. There's nothing opening. There's nothing happening. I mean, we're all over here looking at them go to all these sites. So today, let's just say as part of their plan, just today alone, they went to the center of the world in Felicity, California. If you haven't seen it, it is the weirdest pyramid-looking facility that was built by Rothschild. And then there's another guy that allegedly ran it and ran the program or currently runs it. And It's this pyramid in the middle of nowhere. They call it the center of the world. It's not the center of anything. And it has a lot of history, human history, war history, alien history in it. It's, you can go visit this place. It's just really strange. So underneath there in the past, hasn't happened for 24 years, but they believed today was the day that the Abraxas were going to show up in this location. And have they showed up there before? Yes, more than 24 years ago. However, they felt today is the day. Nope, nobody came. They also went to a facility underneath the Grand Canyon. If you don't know, the entire Grand Canyon underneath there is a giant secret space program base, which is not really functioning anymore, but they, I guess, felt with the equinox power, maybe all their stuff would come back. I think the SSP must really like country music because they play it backwards every time there's an alignment. So I guess they think it's time for your pickup truck to come back, or your altars and your space balls and your Death Stars and all that is just going to reappear, kind of like the wife would come back and the husband wouldn't cheat and, all these other things they talk about in country music. So maybe that's what the SSP is looking for. I don't know at this point. They have also been to a couple of other military installations, one in Kentucky earlier today, one in North Carolina. They were also looking for old junk that's been gone forever underneath Washington, D.C. So, they were busy. They were busy trying to conjure something for sure. Also in Giza, you got to go to the pyramids in Giza. These people love Egypt. These Order of the Black Sun people, they love Egypt. They worship Egypt because it was the original landing place for the Abraxas. So these are the alleged bloodline of the Abraxas people. So why not, right? Were any of these mechanisms still in place? No. Did they get anywhere today? No. But they did promise, however, everyone that they would have access by 3 p.m. Eastern time today. Wow, how exciting. So this has never happened before. This is a shock, really, that they lie. And today I was just like, really, they're in this meeting on Saturday. They get so angry with the SSP that they themselves took out 22 people while they were in that meeting. 22 people, because they realized they had done all this work for nothing. And then they still wait for them, and they tell you 3 o'clock today, and you still listen. I don't know what's wrong with these people's heads. This is why I say I don't think you can fix it. I was kind of hopeful that maybe something would have happened, on a side note. It's kind of like a bonus, if you happen to get really good seats to the game or something, and if not, you're still at the game and you're maybe a few rows back. Big deal. That's kind of how I feel about these people. Still going to the game, still at the party. And if you come, that's great. If I get the better seats, that's better. But it's not that big, it's okay. It's fine. So my tolerance for their lies, maybe I had a little bit of frustration today, I'm going to say. So true to form, 3 p.m. rolls around and it's time to try to get access to all the things the SSP promised them they would have access to. So what do? So number one, underneath the Pentagon, there is a facility called a Level 6 facility. It's deep, deep under the Pentagon, and it is right above where the Pentagon was built on an underground base of, let's just say, not humanity's friends, aliens at one point in time. They're not there anymore, but the facility is still there, and it really doesn't do much of anything. So they sent their people down at 3 o'clock to try to get access that they were promised, and of course they gave them super secret special codes too. How exciting, So I thought about this for a second. I'm like, I haven't done this in a while. I'm going to answer the phone. So I said, hello, this is Kimberly Gogan, Ground Command. Why are you hacking at my system? I got a quick sorry. They called the SSP officers and told them that I answered the phone. They got really angry. See, because it's all about the lies, right? So at least these people in that room that are still breathing know that they lied. Okay, fine. What, are they going to be able to do anything about it? Do they even care? They apparently appreciate being lied to and made cannon fodder. I don't know. Maybe they're into like weird S&M kind of thing or something. Maybe this is how they do things in their world. I'm not sure. But they like to be beaten brutally, apparently, and enjoy it tremendously, also for free. So I don't know. So then the meeting came around, right around 3:00. They all get on the phone. It's everybody again. It's GCHQ is there from UK. You had the Russians on there. You had some Middle Eastern folks on there. You had some Israeli Mossad on there. Everybody is there, and it's time to get paid because, they said they'd have access by 3:00. There's other facilities where they're hacking, and of course, CyberLife, whatever's left of it, limping on its last legs, is still going to facilities and still trying, while everybody's on this meeting and this call. So I'm listening to it, and what it sounds like is word salad to me. It just sounds like a bunch of, we're going to do it, and we're doing the thing, and, we need probably a few more hours. We thought we'd have it by 3, but, I got to hang now, and so-and-so couldn't type as fast as we thought he could. He's down to 50 words a minute instead of 60 words. So, we just didn't quite get access to the system. And, and then this other guy had to go home because, his daughter was dancing in a recital. I don't know, like it was just that bad. So I thought, well, okay, well, I know what line they're on. I think I'll join. So I went ahead and I just introduced myself right in the middle of the word salad and the other people screaming at them, telling them that they were full of it and everything else. And I said, hi, this is, Global Intelligence Agency, Kimberly Gogan, Ground Command. How can I help you? And how'd you get access to this line? And they start screaming at me. And the other people are like, I'm like, well, they're never going to pay you. This is all lies. I said, you're going to have this same meeting a year from now, and why do you believe these people? And then they, I told them, I said, I have a higher rank than all these people and all this kind of stuff. And that's how I can get into any line anywhere and any meeting anywhere. And some people were like, well, who died and made you boss? And I said, I'm so sorry. That's classified and that's way above your pay grade. And there's nobody on this call or anybody with these people that are on this call that have a higher rank than me. So I can say whatever I want to say or not, So quite frankly, that's none of your business is what I told these people because they wouldn't understand, the truth. So I told them, I said, the only money that's ever come out is from me. I said, these people lied and said it was from them, but it never was. And then some guy in the background says, well, you got any proof of that? I said, sure, I do. And I uploaded all the files right to that call into that meeting and gave them all the proof. And that same guy actually said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, yep, here's all your proof. Here you go. And, of course, there was a lot of arguing and fighting and I made the secret space program folks quite angry today because they can't lie anymore. Well, they can, and they will. And these people will probably take that lie over talking to anybody else. So, but at least I had some joy in my day by interrupting one of their super secret meetings. And, I might join more of them, actually. But it won't be on the same lines because, well, they don't exist anymore. So there goes those secret communication lines. So maybe they'll find other secret communication lines and we'll make a game of it. We'll play like, where's Kim? Is she going to show up? Is she not going to show up? I mean, I'm there recording every single meeting anyway, but now I actually am starting to participate. And, maybe it's just for fun, because I don't really see, if we could change one person's mind, or one group, and maybe they would do something good for humanity or something positive, who knows? Maybe they all think, and I know a lot of them do, think that they're doing the right thing for humanity. I know they think they're doing the right thing. At the top, they're just nuts. And, but these white hat people that, there was a lot of people that really collected all those dinar numbers and, and probably had the intention of paying out at least some fee to regular people. But, the SSP comes in with their country song and they're hoping that they can play that song backwards and have their space junk come back on an equinox or some other time of year. Of course, it's last day of equinox, today, tomorrow. I think it ends tomorrow morning Eastern time. So, they're ever hopeful. They're hopeful that something positive is going to happen. But no, I doubt it. Actually, I know it's not going to happen for them. But as for us, it was kind of a fun day. The weekend was really long. There's a lot, like I said, going on in the Middle East right now. We're watching things really closely. We have been participating as much as we can, finding things when we can find them. We are definitely going to be looking at what goes on behind the scenes at the BRICS meeting. So far, it's, they're all on the same bus, right? So they were hoping that this money would come out before the talking heads, meaning the heads of state, the actors, would get on the TV and shake hands and that kind of thing. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen for them because they're looking for it from the wrong place. So I am not sure what they're going to do. They're probably just going to get up and talk like they did at the last BRICS meeting when their BRICS wallet coin or whatever they're calling it didn't work out in August of last year. So is this a surprise? Nope. Is it a surprise that this year's meeting is in October and not in August or July when it normally is? Nope, because they're going to wait till the end of the equinox and hope for the best. But no, nothing. Meanwhile, you still have people from the UN and the Rothschild family hunting down Filipino people, looking for keepers and elders. And, these Americans are over there too. They've been over there for eons, hoping that somebody can give them keys to some vault. Well, if they have the keys to the vault, they would be there themselves already, and it would already be gone because these people are so greedy. It's ridiculous. So if they could do it all by themselves, they would have done it by now, people. They sign contracts, they pull out gold, they figure out it's tungsten when it arrives in its destination, and, they go back for more. The Japanese just bought a bunch of gold from Philippines and I think from Burma, if I recall, and nothing. It's all tungsten. All of it's tungsten, just like I told everybody it was tungsten. Okay. Did they end up paying? No, nobody got paid. Nobody got any gold. And I guess they like to go on, I don't know, some kind of fishing expedition. It would be more fruitful to do something else, but they still want to have one of their people that are on their side of their bloodlines be the ones to do business with them like they have before for the last few thousand years. But it's not happening. The secret space program, for their part, was actually hoping that they would get they're called nodes, for lack of a better term. And if you don't know this, this is a little bit of SSP history. All jump rooms, all 10,368,000 of them that were on the planet, all ended up going through 0 point Earth, and they would go out through the moon, because remember, that's not a real moon, and then they would go on to their next destination, forward or back in time. Now, the way that they travel forward and back in time, or used to, because it's been a long time since they've had this access, when they used to be able to travel forward and back in time, it's not in the tin can like everybody thinks. They do have tin cans, but in this particular case, this is just humans using jump rooms. When they used to do this, they actually would travel through quantum tunnels that were created in wormholes created by the Omega system. See, these people are so dark, they could not naturally break the time-space continuum. So the way that these people actually traveled throughout the multiverse, forward, backward in time, from one timeline to another timeline, was through Omega lines, which are dark. So that works out well for people like them. You know, they can actually move about the quote unquote cabin going through a dark tunnel created by a dark sentient AI. You could say in cooperation with, it was a balance at, you know, for a time there between Alpha and Omega, but that was the only way they were able to travel. So they were also hoping to get their travel abilities back, hoping they could find long lost shadow military, which is one of the 15 militaries, hoping that they could find their brothers, I guess, and that they would come back, hopefully with a, like Santa Claus with a sack full of space junk. I don't know, but this was part of what they were trying to do today. So it's been a busy day for me. I started at 2:42 a.m. exactly on the dot, with an alarm going off, so I had to take care of that. But it was basically just in case, you know, you got to kind of just make sure that there was nothing that actually did open. You know, you prepare for the worst and hope for the best, but I always remain humble and never think for a second I've got it all, you know. So just in case, you know, we just kind of followed them around to the center of the earth locations and Grand Canyon locations, and, you know, double checking, making sure those jump rooms didn't work, and, you know, there was no way in and out. And it's, you know, it was an interesting way to do things, but since Omega really doesn't have nodes anyway, they, you know, if they did manage to hop a tunnel or a wormhole, they would have just ended to nowhere, and they would have never made it anyway. So always be careful, always be ever vigilant. You know, you can't give these people an inch, and I definitely wanted to make sure that there was nothing on within the 24 hours of the equinox. Now, this used to be every so many years, because it would be kind of even years and odd years. Every so many years, there would be a looshing that would happen. And these are your regular looshings. These are not necessarily the large harvests or anything else that their alien friends used to do. This is more of like loosh light. So it would happen every few years on an equinox, and then big payments would come out in January for the deep state and orders and, you know, all those kinds of things from the Abraxas. But we didn't get looshed, so there's a positive thing. Not going to say there weren't some frequencies and stuff like that started to go off today that were a little unpleasant, because it was unpleasant for me. Of course, you know, I had to have some pleasure, so that's why I joined the meeting. They were so happy to see me. I'm sure, you know, it sounded that way. Can you cut off that line? Cut off the line. Cut off the line. Get her out of here. How the heck did she get in here in the first place? You know, and they're talking like I'm not even there. Like, hey, still here. You know, just because I went quiet for a while because I was busy looking at something else they were doing. But yeah, always remain vigilant. Last day of equinox time, so that's a positive thing. I'm sure they'll probably reschedule all of their big money, big payments. Probably this war will die down a little bit more too. after no money comes in 60 days. We'll see. You just never know who's going to be dumb enough to give them weapons for free. Apparently, this week's Hall of Shame goes to the Russian mafia for trusting their own people. Yeah. In the past, if you know a little bit about Eastern Europeans and you've ever been there or you are one, it's very common for, Russians to fight with Russians and that kind of thing. And it happens all the time. But on a regular person level, when it comes to battling an outsider, they'll stand shoulder to shoulder, even though they hate each other or fight all the time. Apparently in the deep state network, all bets are off because it looks like they just duped their own out of a few $100 billion because that money will never be made good. The fact that they fell for it shocks me. But, neither here nor there. Maybe they're silent circle members. It's kind of like being a member of the UN. When you are a mafia, you are a member of the silent circle. And, there's certain codes you live by, that kind of thing. And perhaps as a card-carrying member, you are supposed to, it's like NATO, you have to buck up and give up weapons for free and hope you get paid later if there's a war or something that one of them wants to start. I don't know. But, be careful. If you are in a BRICS country and you see this peer-to-peer, I would probably steer away from it at the moment. That would be my personal opinion, mainly because it's no better than Napster or LimeWire, if you remember that. It's just, just your atypical blockchain network. Is it true peer-to-peer? I don't know. Do the Russians and the Chinese have a backdoor to everything? 1,000% they do. 1,000%. Matter of fact, I had in my meeting that I had on Tuesday of last week with the coders for the marketplace. And predominantly the meeting was about the marketplace, shipping things and aesthetics and things we wanted to add, and how is it going with the vendor portals, because we have fake vendors that are going in and quote unquote signing up, and they don't really sell anything. They don't have shops. They're just testing things out. How ease of use, is it easy to upload pictures of your products? Is it easy to input all the information? We're trying to make it as easy as possible, whereas some of the other ones are more difficult. Finishing up some of the policies and return policies and those kinds of things that everybody will have to adhere to, both on the vendor side and customer side. But anyway, over lunch, we started having this conversation about, Bitcoin and some of these peer-to-peer, quote unquote, peer-to-peer networks. And an interesting little fact, because these people are just really good at what they do, and of course they all talk and that kind of thing. But they did mention to me that, if you would be safer trying to hide money using cash, if you're a regular person. He said because, although cash has, magnetic ink in it and that kind of thing, and it is traceable. This is for every country. Every country has magnetic ink in their cash. Passing it over the table, believe it or not, is still less evasive and less traceable than Bitcoin. Than Bitcoin actually is, or other crypto, peer-to-peer networks, blockchain. He said that everything you do, and this actually made a lot of sense to me. He said everything you do with Bitcoin or crypto coin or whatever is traceable. He said everything is. And it makes sense to me why all these deep state folks want to go to a crypto coin. I know they'd love to have their social crediting network. I know China would love to have their Skynet back, and that would make it easier for them to do that. But yeah, so it's no surprise to me here that BRICS is doing the same thing. They just want to expand upon it, use technologies. They all have backdoors to those technologies. They have what's called a master node, which all blockchain runs on master nodes, if you don't know. It's not just peer-to-peer, and it's very easily traceable. They can trace every single thing you do. It becomes the best spying network on citizens of another country or your own country that there is out there. So, and that was confirmed to me by these guys that are professionals. They built payment systems. They built all kinds of things, throughout the years, meaning, they've done some that that you use for tap and pay in other countries and that kind of thing. They're really good at what they do. But they, it was no surprise to me what they said about this. So, be careful out there, folks. Really do your research. If that's something you decide you want to do and you want to invest in those things, I would be very, very careful, because they can pull the rug out from underneath you at any time. They can monitor everything that you do. So just be careful and stay safe. Hopefully, in the next 24 hours, their equinox time will pass, and I'm sure they'll be on to the next date and the next date and the next date. I know they've talked about these selections. It's a mess over there in DC. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a fire drill today. Do you remember when you were a kid and you were in school and the fire alarm, they would kind of pre-schedule it, and there would be this fire alarm that would happen during the day, and you would have to go single file out the door. And at least we had them when I was kids. I don't know if they still do that kind of thing. And so Washington, D.C. and the Capitol, they actually, orchestrated by the Capitol Police, they actually had a fire drill today, which apparently was ordered by the legislative branch. Okay, why? Distraction? I know they're still trying to come up with budget money. They're very frustrated over there because it's a selection year for actors, and they're not going to get the lead role as actors if there's no money, on either side of the aisle. Remember, campaigns are run by people with money, meaning the more money you have, the more promises the actor makes for you, to you, and then you get those things when that actor gets into the office. So you're basically buying political favors at that time. That's what campaign money is all about. I mean, the little people, the donating the little money, we don't get anything. We get nothing from that. But the big guys do. They get to walk in the White House anytime they want. They want to cut down a whole forest. They want to wipe out a whole state. They get to do all of those things for campaign money, But it is a mess over there right now. And the SSP is just lying their way through everything, politicians and otherwise. And hey, guys, we're going to have a fire drill today because you know what? I need a distraction. I need to distract you till after 3 o'clock, when by then, we're going to be able to open up portals in the Grand Canyon. We're not going to tell you that, but, we'll have more control over the financial system by then, they say. Like I said, hot mess. On our end of it, we're just still integrating our own stuff. We're doing our own thing. It was interesting weekend. Got to play a few games, and we'll see how the rest of the week goes. Hopefully, I'll have more time after the equinox time is over, to work on some other things that I actually enjoy doing. So I miss being on camera. Sometimes I just can't do it. It's been a long day. I think we're about 15 hours now of work today. So yeah, on that note, this is pretty much what I have to say for the Global Intelligence Agency Operations Report for the 21st of October. So I wish you all a happy Monday, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you on Wednesday.